Do we think that the tremendous sauropods of the past were more impressive than the modern day blue whale? Everyone, Mike here with Prehistoric Magazine. Welcome back to another video. Now, this topic is not necessarily about what's been on YouTube recently about the idea of, do we think that sauropods could weigh as much as the blue whale or even exceed the blue whale in weight? As it stands right now, the blue whale is currently the largest animal that has ever existed. And I'm not trying to take anything away from it. It's a spectacular animal in its own right. And the largest specimen that has ever been at least documented is supposedly thought to have weighed about 200 tons. So that's an incredible amount of weight, 200 tons. Can't even really fathom how many elephants that is stacked together. But nonetheless, massive animal, largest animal that's ever existed. And, recently there's been some interest on YouTube about, again, do we think that sauropods could, potentially rival the blue whale in terms of weight? Now, that's a spectacular claim if it can even remotely, maybe not even be true one day, but even be close to be true, for a land animal to reach or even get in that vicinity of a blue whale would truly, truly be spectacular stuff. And, there are some sauropods that people believe may reach that level. Bruhathkayasaurus of India, but there's currently a lot of controversy around it. But, there are some animals. I think with what we can say with certainty is that sauropods probably did weigh in excess of 100 tons. Now, that's a tremendous amount, for a land-based animal. And, sauropods had some adaptations that allowed them to weigh their tremendous weights, their long neck and their long tails to counterbalance the weight. Their stance, they had a very wide stance to support the massive weight. They had hollow bones, to make the skeletons as light as possible, but still keep up the structural integrity. And they had pads on the bottom of their feet to just, again, counter the weight and almost act like a shock absorber when you're moving around, countering and just dealing with all that tremendous weight. So they had their adaptations, which allowed them to get to truly gargantuan sizes. And again, this video is not necessarily about, do we think a sauropod could reach the level of a blue whale? I find that fascinating, completely fascinating, and that's definitely a topic for another video. But this video is about, do we think that a 100-ton sauropod is more impressive, biomechanical, just everything, more impressive than the blue whale at maybe 200 tons. So again, this is a video about you all. If you're watching, really would appreciate a comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say on this. This is a really fascinating topic, and I'll be looking more into it in the coming months and years. And I'm really curious to see if we can find a sauropod that would even rival the largest of the blue whales. That would truly be fascinating stuff. But again, as of right now, I think we can say with concrete that sauropods probably did weigh in excess of 100 tons. Now, how much more did they weigh than 100 tons? We probably have not found the biggest sauropod. I think we can probably say that too. There's probably something bigger out there, and even the current species that we do have, probably not possible that we found the largest in that individual species. So however many percentage you want to scale it up, if we think a sauropod could get to 100 tons, maybe the largest in that species could grow another 30, 40% bigger. So maybe an animal could be 130, 140 tons. Again, I do think it's going to be tough for a sauropod to reach the weight of this supposed 200-ton blue whale. But again, you never know. Nature is a fascinating thing, and unfortunately, not everything was fossilized, not everything was preserved, so we may just never know. But I guess my question to you all is, do we think that a land-based animal like a giant 100-ton, 120, 130, 140-pound sauropod was more impressive than the modern-day blue whale? For myself, if I have to give an answer to that, I think I give the nod to the sauropod, only because it's based on land and it has to deal with gravity. The blue whale lives in the ocean. It has kind of a streamlined appearance, making it easier to swim through the water. And it's buoyant, it's got the buoyancy going for it. So it does not have to support that tremendous weight. And again, this is taking nothing away from the blue whale. The blue whale is a tremendous animal, Again, it is the largest animal that has ever existed. If you want a modern day kaiju, Godzilla, King Kong, the blue whale is your animal. It is as big as anything has ever gotten, and I'm not trying to take anything away from it. But I think for my bet, I have to place it on the sauropods only because they're based on land and they have to deal with all the difficulties of living on land and having to deal with gravity. Again, they have the long necks, the long tails, they have the wide stance, the pads on the bottom of their feet, and they have to contend with just enormous weights. So that's where I stand on this. Love to hear where you stand on this. Do you think that the sauropods of the past, the truly big ones, are more impressive than the modern day blue whale? Appreciate the support. Really hope to hear a comment from you and see you in the next video. Take care.